Well, welcome to the Kristi Jones Show, where it's all about living your life to the fullest. I'm a life coach, speaker, and business owner in multifamily real estate, and I've had wild success in multifamily housing for over 25 years now. I am so passionate about helping others merge their success and lead a fulfilling life, and I bring it all together right here on this podcast. So join me and let's get started to live your life to the fullest. Well, I'm so glad that we are getting this time together today. I want to talk to you about something that I know you're going to be able to relate to because, man, this has shown up in my life, weaving in and out of my life over the years. So I'm going to talk about fear. I'm going to talk about overcoming fear and how tricky it can get because, fear that what we're kind of afraid of that we don't sometimes always recognize that we don't want to call it fear. We're like, I'm not scared. I'm not fearful of that. But I want to talk to you for a second in this episode because there are really inconspicuous ways that can surface in our life. And it's truly what can be holding you back from you pursuing your dreams, you creating the life that you really want to have. And I want to be able to kind of highlight a few areas of that for you so that you can stop letting fear control your life or parts of your life or have it controlling your choices. And you can really start moving forward to create, build, and experience the life that you really want to have. So let's get into it. I'm coming to you today in super bright pink. I just got this. I bought this on TikTok shop, I guess is what it's called. But I loved it. Best $20 I have spent in a long time because it's just this little burst of color and I love it. So I don't know if you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, or on Spotify, you'll see it says XOXO. So I was kind of thinking, February's coming up, Valentine's. I just thought it was so cute. So anyways, have you bought things on TikTok? I mean, if you haven't, it's so easy. To me, it's very similar to Amazon, although I love my Amazon shopping, not gonna lie. So easy to return things when it doesn't work out on Amazon. And I haven't done everything I've bought on TikTok I've loved. So I've never had something I had to try to return. So I don't know how great or how easy it works there, but I just find some of the most amazing things on TikTok. Anyways, okay, let's get going on this. Let's talk about fear. And when I talk about fear, it's kind of the opposite of faith. I said this blog post I did one time where I talked about fear and faith and how opposite they are of each other, but they both require our focus and our energy and our attention. So, but they have entirely different outcomes. So if you're going to choose to spend your mental energy and just all that, when we get worked up over something and we're worrying or we're fearful, we could take that same amount of time and energy and redirect that into more of a more hopeful, more faith-filled process and mindset that, I mean, if you're going to spend your time doing something, let's get out of the fear-based mongering and let's do something that's actually going to be more productive for our life. And it's going to feel better. You're going to just feel better when you stay in the space of hope, as in when I describe hope is an expectation that something good is going to happen, that a good result is going to come out of this. So to me, that's just the opposite of staying in that fear-based space. And so I want to just kind of point that out that like you have a choice of if you want to kind of mull around and hang out in the fearful thoughts, fear-based thinking, or if you want to move forward into more, hope and faith and to start believing that something good is on its way, that the day is going to be good instead of waking up going, oh my God, this day is going to suck. I've got all these problems. And so there are two ways to go about it. And you're going to feel entirely different depending on which one you choose. So first and foremost, I want to make sure that you kind of just sit back and think, and this is a really good episode to just do some self-reflection on too. Um, but just stop and think, like, which one, when I wake up in the morning, where is my general thoughts, train of thoughts? Which path do I kind of wake up and go down, Sets the tone for your day. So be aware of that you're not just like on an autopilot and your whatever you had going on the day before, or maybe you went to bed with a lot of concern and fear. Make sure that you don't wake up and that just you hit the ground running with that same defeating, fearful mindset. So catch it early. Like it's really good to just check yourself when you wake up in the morning and make sure that you are not letting fear rule your life and not letting, all the what ifs. I call it what if thinking. I mean, we can what if things to death, can we not? We can. And it is not productive. I mean, you can seriously, there are so many scenarios to what if. What if this? What if that? What if this happens? What if he does this? What if she does that? But it does not, it is not a fruitful, productive place to hang out. So we need to like limit the what if thinking. And if you're going to what if it, here's another way to look at it. If you're going to what if it with like the doom and gloom or the things that that could go wrong or the things that you're scared of or that cause you, and maybe scared and fear, maybe that isn't a word that like connects with you. Maybe it's the stuff that gives you those anxious feelings that like makes your heart rate change, that makes you feel worked up. I mean, there's a lot of different words and language that people use. At the root of it, it is fear. But there's a lot of different words that people use to describe that feeling. So, and if you're going to do that on the what if this, what if it doesn't work out? Take that same amount of time and energy and what if, and then what's the great outcome? What if this happens? What if all the possibility, but in the positive way, that the good is going to happen. So if you're going to be a what if person, I say, what if it in the direction of, oh my gosh, what is possible? What is the good that can come from this? Don't go down the rabbit hole of all the things that are really rooted in fear. Okay. So if you want to what if a situation to death, what if it in the other direction? That's going to have a whole different energy to it, a different momentum, and it's just going to put your mind in an entirely different place. So I encourage you, there are two things that I want to say really quickly and make sure I get this out early in the podcast episode. But I want to encourage you to start believing today that something good is going to happen for you, to you. Start believing that today. Every day you should wake up and have the belief that something good is going to happen for me today. Something good is going to happen to me today. Like you wake up and you just know that. You're in this, what I call like a faithful expectancy. So I'm not convinced. I don't really give any I call it airtime. I don't allow my brain to give airtime to that the bad things that might happen today, the negativity, the things rooted in fear. I like if my brain starts to go that way on a situation, I like grab the reins so quick and I acknowledge, okay, yeah, I hear your brain. We're feeling a little anxious about this situation or a little scared that, that I might, go to, maybe it's like something you have coming up, right? You're going to maybe give a presentation or, you're going to an event and you're going to be around people that you haven't met before, or you don't even know that well. And so you're feeling a little, basically fearful about it because you don't know the outcome and you feel a little unsure. And so, but catch that early. Like it's okay to feel that way, but you got to, what I call reel it back in, and start thinking about and believing that this is going to go so great. And I'm going to, when I go to this event, who knows who I'm going to meet? I might connect with someone that we have so much in common, or we meet for coffee next week, or you see where I'm taking this? So grab when you see that tendency showing up in yourself, grab it quickly, grab it early, and redirect your energy, redirect your mind. The second thing that I want to encourage you each and every day is to start your day believing that something good is going to happen through you. Meaning, and here's my personal take on this is I wake up every day and I believe, and I like to just kind of have a moment in the morning by myself, just in my mind. And I believe that sometime today, I believe that God is going to do something through me to encourage someone, to help someone, to, I may not even know the significance of it, of what it is to the other person, but I truly believe I wake up every day and because I'm always like, hey, use me, God. Like, um, what can I be doing today? Make sure you guide my steps, guide my thoughts, help me along the way. And so I believe not only when I wake up each day that good things are going to happen to me or for me, but I strongly, the second thought, and I encourage you to join me on this, and is that something good is going to happen through me today, through my words, through my actions, through my whatever, and my comings and goings. So I believe that every day. I believe that. And with that, I'm kind of the reason I like the second one too is that it gets my mind off of me. Sometimes we think about, we worry about our own stuff. It takes up a lot of mental space, does it not? The things that you have to be thinking about in your life, the things that you're trying to work through, figure out, the things that are causing you from fear, that fearful or uncomfortable feeling, right? Well, it's so good to get our minds off of ourselves. And I believe we should want to be, a blessing, a light, helpful to others. And that can show up in a lot of different ways. There's not like a one way that looks. There's a variety of ways that can show up in your day of how you can be of service and helping others, encouraging them, saying a word of it might not even be encouraging. You just might be like in conversation and they ask you something, and whatever it is that you share is exactly what they needed to hear that day to be able to move forward, to be able to get over the hump in whatever they were dealing with, whatever they were trying to, figure out at the moment. So I believe it's always good for us to, kind of get our minds off of our own stuff. And that's always been one of my suggestions and for myself and for others, when you're having that, maybe you're just having a tougher day or a tough week, or you're just kind of feeling, have you ever woke up and you feel just kind of off? It's like, I can't put my finger on it. I just don't feel myself today. That is the perfect time to be very intentional that day, to focus on what you can do for someone else, how you can be a blessing to someone else, because that right there is one of the biggest mood shifters, mindset shifters. I mean, it's remarkable. And if you do it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So if you find yourself in that kind of that funk, that we can find ourselves in from time to time, that's an excellent way to just get yourself right out of it, because you're going to get the focus off of you and you're going to say, how or what can I do for someone else? Enough with my own mental BS right now. Let me go see what I can do to be of service, to help someone else, to be a blessing to another person. So that's my suggestion there. I do that. I've always done that, to really get myself out of if I have that day where I just kind of feel off, or if something doesn't feel right, or I'm just kind of blah. And that's an instant way to just immediately change it up. So step out of fear, step forward into hope and faith, and encourage yourself to start each day believing the two things that I said, believing that good is going to happen for you today. And also, the second thing, that something good is going to happen through you, that you're going to be that person. You're going to be the solution to somebody's problem. You're going to have the encouraging word for what they needed to hear that day at that moment. So those are two things that I would, put in, I talk about the toolkit of life. These are a couple things I would definitely get tucked away in your toolkit for sure. To kind of tie this into, when I talk about like our circumstances and our thoughts, which create our feelings and then also our results. And I coach a lot about, really, we've got to analyze our thoughts, right? If we want to change some things up, we need to really be taking a look at our thoughts about a situation or a circumstance. And that's where we have the power to change our thoughts at any given moment. But what we choose to focus on expands. I know you've heard me say this 1,000,001 times, but I'm going to say it 1,000,002 times or three. What we focus on expands. And what you're going to focus on. So let me back up a little bit. We experience our life based on what we choose to focus on. So we experience the part of life, we experience the part of our life that we choose to focus on. So as you think about that, you've got your life involves so many things, right? It has so many moving parts to your life. And we can break down. I mean, I'm not just talking your professional life and your career or your business. And then, yes, there's like all the personal things outside of your career, the things within you. I mean, there are so many moving parts to your life, right? We experience the part of our life that we choose to focus on. So, because we all have things weaved into our life that, problems, challenges, things that are causing us the fear, but we experience the part of our life that we focus on. So, example, two people can have a very similar problem, and one person is very focused on the problem, very focused on the problem. Like like they wake up thinking about the problem, they go to bed thinking about the problem. They are focused on the problem. It's causing them a lot of angst, a lot of discomfort. There's a lot of turmoil. They're trying to work through it. Every day is like kind of just like an internal struggle, focusing on the problem. Other person B, very similar problem. They could even have the exact same problem. We could just say that, let's say the person B has the same problem, but they're choosing to focus on a part of their life where something is really, I'll use the word good, but something in their life that just lights them up, that brings them so much joy, that makes them feel so much love about life. That yeah, they have this problem. They have that problem. It's going on over here, and they acknowledge it and they see it, and they're trying to figure out some solutions of how to handle the problem or maybe solve the problem, but they spend 98% of their time focused their energy on the good, the parts of their life that really generate all those feelings opposite of fear. But now person A focused 98% of the day consumed with the problem, consumed with what is just tearing them up. And they probably have all these other really great, fulfilling, good parts of their life, but they're unable to see it because they're so focused on the problem. So, takes me back to what I was saying. What are you going to focus on? We experience most the part of our life in the area that we choose to focus on. So, are you going to focus on the problem 98% of the time? And that's going to generate more of that just disturbing feeling of frustration and, all the things that can tie into letting that dictate your life? Or are you going to be like person B that I described, where you got the problem, you acknowledge the problem, you're going to try to solve the problem, but 98% of the time, you are focused on the good in your life, all of the things that light you up, the things that you wake up excited about to do, to see, to experience. While, yes, you still are trying to navigate this problem over here. But there's just too much to be excited about, to love about your life. You've got so much of your energy and focus over here that the problem doesn't control you the way that it's controlling the other person that I was talking about, example A. So you get to choose that. And that's the beautiful thing. We get to choose how much energy we want to give something and how much focus we want to give it. And we experience our life based on the parts of our life that we focus on. And so what I'm going to take that a step further. Whatever it is you're focusing on is really determining how you feel as you go about your day, right? So I talked about person A, 90 something percent of the time focused on the problems in her life. And so my guess is she is going through her day frustrated, a little bummed out, feeling like she doesn't measure up, really not super motivated, just thinking that, you know what, my life, it just sucks. It's hard. I mean, what's the point? Like, why do I want to go try something new? I can't even figure out this other crap over here in my life. I don't want to go hang out and meet new people. I don't want to pour into friendships because I've got this problem. And person B, and I was just for this conversation, I was just saying person B has the exact same problem, right? But person B is acknowledging, yeah, I got the problem and I'm trying this and I'm thinking this, or I'm trusting that it is going to work out for my good. And in the meantime, I'm doing what I know to do, right? But I'm focusing 98% of my energy on all the good in my life, all the good that can still be done through me. Doesn't mean I don't have the same problem. Person A and person B got the same problem, but how they feel, person B, you know how they're going to feel when they choose to focus on the part of their life that is not based in fear. They feel excited. They're like excited to wake up. They're like, what's going to go on today? Who am I going to meet? What are the exciting challenges that might come my way? Because I'm ready for them. They feel prepared. They have more confidence. They have more gratitude. They're open for more experiences and more opportunities. They're more aware of opportunities. They're more receptive to that. The energy of it's just how they feel, how they feel lighter moving through their day. They're probably going to get their workout in because they're feeling pretty good. They got the energy for it. They're not letting the problem suck the life right out of them, like person B, who's uber focused on only that aspect of their life that has the problems. And so totally affects how you feel. And I've talked about this before in my coaching and in other episodes that um, you know, our thoughts that we have about things, determines how we feel. So I'm using a little bit different language here, meaning like talking about, what we focus on and how that makes us feel. And so when that next part of that is then how we show up and what we do, how we act, what we do or we don't do. So when you're feeling when you're rooted in like fear and frustration and, I'm focusing on the aspect of my life, like person A, who's uber focused on the problems or the problem, then how that makes that person feel, then that affects how they show up and what they actually do or don't do in their life. So literally, you could be letting the problem steal the opportunity for you to chase your dreams. You could let the problem steal the opportunity for you to build and create and go after the kind of life that you want to have. It's because you're uber focused over here, person A, on the problem or problems. And then person B, uber focused on all the good that's going on, the good parts of their life. They're choosing to focus even though they've got those problems. Remember, when I started doing this example, person A and person B, they've got the same problem, okay? It's how each of them approaches it. Person A, they're going to be getting things done. They're going to be like going for stepping out of their comfort zone still, trying something. An opportunity crosses their path, comes across their desk. They're not going to have the attitude of, what's the point? I mean, I'm probably, it's not going to it probably won't work out anyway. So what's the point? I'm not even going to apply for that. I'm not going to do a submission. I'm not going to whatever. I'm not going to do it because they're staying in this place of discouragement because they're letting fear be the boss of their life. And the fear, meaning the fear of the problem, the fear of the problem. They're focusing on that too much. And person B, what are they doing? Well, they're doing things. They're still moving forward. And not everything works out. They know that. They know that, hey, it's okay for me to not feel fully comfortable. Like I'm a little nervous about this. I'm a little scared to try this, but they're doing it anyway. They know they're going to get on the other side of that. That's also a huge way to build your confidence and competence is you have to do the reps and get on the other side of that uncomfortable feeling. Once you get on the other side of that feeling, you feel like an entirely different person. So that is what I wanted to share with you today in hopes that you will kind of self-examine yourself and your own life and realize, again, if you're like, oh crap, I have been focusing on my problems way too much. I'm giving way too much time and attention to that. You know what? Acknowledge it, recognize it, and it can change immediately. You can change your mind immediately. You can sit down right now and decide all the things that are not related to that problem. And then you can say, where am I going to direct my focus when I wake up and start each day? Where am I directing my focus? Yes, I'm going to try to, if it's necessary, I will try to resolve the problem or do something to work, to where I'm, working towards something I could do to better that situation. But, in all problems, that's not always the case. Sometimes there are problems that sometimes, have you ever been there? I've been there. Like, I don't know how to solve this one. I just have to give it to God. And I'm like, God, I've done everything that I've tried, that I've known to do, and I don't know what else to do. So I'm going to trust that I know, you know the answer. And so I'm open, I'm receptive, show me, lead me, teach me. But in the meantime, I'm going to let you as the all powerful do your work. And in the meantime, I'm going to focus on the good. I'm going to focus on what's good in my life. And that's where my energy is going to go. That's where my focus is going to go. And I'm going to trust that all things are working for the good. So that is how, when I've got a problem and I'm just like stuck and it's not moving, and I've tried some different things and nothing's shifting. So that's what I do. That's what I do is I give it to God and I trust. I trust. And I know whatever the outcome, because I've watched this play out in my life before, whatever the outcome, it is for the good. And I believe that. So it's since I believe that so strongly, it's really easy, or much easier, to be like, okay, I've tried everything. I'm exhausted. I don't know why. We sometimes think we can do everything, right? Especially when you're a high achiever and you're an ambitious person. You're used to getting things done and you're used to solving problems. Am I right? I know. I see you. I see you because I've been like that as well. But I also know when something, I don't have all the answers. Absolutely don't have all the answers. And so I give it to God. And then I just sit back and wait for further instructions. If there's something that I feel, if I feel him talk to me, and like if there's something that I need to do. But I'm definitely not going to sit around and mull around in fear and despair and frustration and all the negativity. I'm not going to focus on the problem. I'm going to focus on the possibility. So I encourage you to focus on the just infinite possibility in your life. Focus on that. Pay attention to how that makes you feel. And then pay attention to how you start showing up in your life differently. What are the actions that you start taking? Trust me, just do that. And then notice. You will just wow yourself, because what you focus on expands. Know that. Know that what you focus on expands. So it's a no-brainer. Focus on the good. Focus on the possibility of, and believing, like I said earlier, what's going to happen today? I believe that something really great is going to happen today. And then I also believe that something really great it's going to come through me so that I can be of service and I can, you know, be the solution to someone's problem, or, help them, encourage them, whatever that is. So I hope you adopt those thoughts and put that in your toolkit and take that with you. And I encourage you to encourage others. I really think that it doesn't do any good when we just hold that in. Maybe we're thinking it, but we don't share it with somebody. Like, if you have something encouraging that you want to share with somebody because they're doing a great job, or you see that they're giving it their all, like, if you're thinking that, go ahead and tell them, share that with them. They probably need that. They probably want to hear that. I mean, don't hoard up all the compliments that you might have for somebody. Go ahead and share those. Share it with that person. So I encourage you to, as you go through this next week, look at ways that you can take your mind off yourself and how you can be a blessing to others, and give them that encouraging word that they might need that day. That you acknowledge the extra effort that they've been doing. Or, I noticed that you've been working so hard you've really stuck to, maybe they're trying to get to the gym so many days a week, and they're trying to, move their body more consistently. And you notice that they're putting a lot of effort into it and they're doing it. Tell them that. Share that with them. Like, I can't think of any time that anyone has said something nice to me where I've said, "Oh my God, how dare you say that? What do you think you're doing saying that to me?" I mean, really, right? When you've been like that and someone has said something or noticed something that you've been doing, it feels really nice. You're like, "Oh, thanks. That's so nice of you." And so realize that you have the ability to do that so many times throughout your day, with people with strangers. I mean, there's the endless opportunities. So as you go through this next week, look for those opportunities where you can pay someone a compliment, where you can be encouraging to somebody. All right, my friend, let's wrap this little conversation up and get on with our week. I'm so glad you're here. I so appreciate you listening to the podcast, and I would really love it if you would share it. Pass this episode on to someone that you think would also enjoy this, and then definitely, as always, if you could rate and review, no matter where you catch this at, if it's on my website, if it's on Spotify, Apple, on YouTube, whatever it is, drop a comment, go in the show notes, hit my email. Let me know what else you would like to have and hear about on the podcast. I get those emails and I I flag them and I put them in a folder. And then when I'm looking for ideas for episodes, that's where I go to, because I want to make sure that I hear you and that I bring you some content that you're like, hey, talk about this or give us some ideas on this. So let me know. I am all ears. All right, go make the rest of your week fabulous. And I will see you back here, same time, same place. Take care. I want to thank you for tuning in today to the podcast, and I hope you've enjoyed the conversation and all the info that's been shared today. And I hope you've come away with a few ideas on how to make the most out of it for your life. If you loved this episode, be sure to share it with your friends and family. And also make sure you subscribe to the podcast and tap that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Also, it would mean the absolute world to me if you would leave a podcast review. So until next time, my friend, keep flourishing and thriving and live your life to the